A happy Fat Tuesday from Night Danger. I'm in the woodshed. I've got my last smoke and my last cold one of the season before Lent starts tomorrow. And it's finally warm enough to film outside again. It's above freezing. It's snowing like crazy, big fat snowflakes. But it's above zero for you Canadian people, and above, I think, 32 is freezing. It's above 32 for you Americans. And it's, I wanted to do a little update on what's been going on because I've been incognito, a little dark on YouTube. I haven't posted much. And that's been twofold. First, I had a baby coming. He showed up 2 weeks ago. He's awesome. But he takes up a lot of time. And the time leading up to him took up a lot of time and mental energy. So, that's the first thing. And the second thing is that it's winter, and I only film outside. I've got a strict policy. And it sucks to film outside in Ontario in the middle of winter. It sucks a lot. So I had the thought that I would update the people about what's been going on in the world of Night Danger's games and figure out kind of the direction for 2025. I've taken a break from the mystery game. I'm walking away from it for the time being because it's not ready. What I'm cooking is not ready for public consumption. And in the meantime, my IRL group, me and my boys, my brother, and my friends, we've stepped back from the bro playstyle almost entirely. We're not doing one-to-one time. We're not doing factions or patrons. We've been doing one party, pause time in the dungeon. And it's fun, but I will admit, it does lack the excitement that I experienced last summer when I was fully in it. And that's what this video is about. The cost of excellence. Excellent gaming requires investment. Excellence in any hobby requires investment. And in the tradition of the father of the Bro SR, Jeffro Johnson, thank you, Jeffro, I want to explain this with a long-winded analogy of an adjacent and almost entirely unrelated hobby, and that's playing live music. When I was a teenager, I played, I played with other musicians. Well, I had 2 different jazz band practices every week. And then I was playing on the worship team at my church for the junior high youth group on Wednesday, the senior high youth group on Friday, and then most Sunday mornings. Bass, guitar, occasionally piano if they had no one else. And that translated to, like, if I was to ballpark it, 10 to 15 hours of playing with other musicians, either in practice or in performance, on top of drilling my fundamentals at home, doing scales, learning new songs, practicing form, all that jazz. I was really, really, really in it with my instrument. And it gave me some of the best experiences playing music I've ever had in my entire life. Nothing has ever come close to how good it felt when you're on a stage with other musicians that you've practiced with and that you know and you trust and you're familiar with, and you know your standards, you know your tunes, and you can improvise and you can be flexible. It's wonderful. It's a really incredible experience, but the time investment is huge. And now, a number of years later that I won't specify, if I pick up my guitar for an hour and a half a week, that's a good week. Because I've got work, I've got kids, I've got other interests. And it's okay. I still enjoy myself. I still love playing the guitar, and when I pick up my guitar and I learn a new song or I do something, it's still enjoyable. It's still fulfilling. But it's not the same. And that's what I've been experiencing with RPGs. I went from my campaign that I ran last summer, which was 15 to 20 hours, maybe even 30 hours on certain weeks of adjudicating downtime and patron orders and session prep and answering messages and all of that. And that's outside of the regular actual session, like playing the game every week. I was running once, sometimes twice a week. That level of investment produced the best gaming I've ever had in my life. And now that I'm not in university anymore, my schedule is a lot less flexible. I'm a working man with a new baby. My time is at a premium. And the best I can do is making sure that I'm there every other week to run a regular conventional session. And you know what? It's still fun. It's still enjoyable. The guys are still excited to show up. We still have a good time. And I might need to relight this. It's still good, but it's not quite the same. And this has been kind of at the forefront of my mind. Harmony Ginger was on Axe to Grind with Alexander Macris last night. And they talked a bit about how it seems like the Bro SR is moving towards a rules-light, free Kriegspiel paradigm for their games. And I think this is kind of the case, and there's a reason for it. The big Bro SR campaigns, Brovenloft, early Trollopolis, Dubzeron, these campaigns, when they were in the always-on model with the patrons and the orders and the factions and the downtime, and it produced a lot of really exciting stuff that people really, 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 really cared about. But it cost. I remember John Mollison saying in a number of videos that it just ate DMs alive. It chewed them up because it was just so much work. That's the price you pay for excellent gaming. And so you kind of approach a crossroads at some point. Do I go for what I know to be truly excellent, maximally good? Or do I opt for something that I know I can sustain long term and is going to be overall less exciting? There's been some campaigns that have happened since the Bro SR adopted the total non-stop Braunstein paradigm, since Jeffro stopped running on a regular basis. And these games are still good. People are still excited about them. People still show up for them. But the energy is lower. The candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long. And when you're approaching any hobby, but RPGs in this sense, you need to know and be at peace with the degree of investment that you're going to put in. Is this going to be the greatest thing you ever ran and consume a second part-time job per week of your life? Or is it something that you've got going on the side that's a good time for you and your buddies? Neither of these things are bad. But we can't fall into the category error of asserting that one is just as good as the other. It's okay to have something that is not as good as a masterpiece because it is what you have time for. This is why folk music and classical music both exist concurrently. And frankly, why blues and like the 12-bar blues and jazz exist concurrently. Time investment is a real variable, and something that requires less time investment is still enjoyable and people still really, really like it. But we have to be honest. It's not on the same level as what happens when you really commit and you devote your body and soul singularly towards producing something really incredible. So going forward in 2025, Night Danger is taking it easy. Why? To build up a battery reserve of energy and creative scraps on index cards piled on my desk so that in 2026 I can have another, if not a year, then maybe another summer of high intensity gaming. We're on feast and famine mode where 2024 I went crazy and I invested huge amounts of time and energy into gaming and I got huge returns on it, but I ran out of gas. And that's on me. So 2025, we're rebuilding that reserve. And 2026, we'll let her rip again. This has been Night Danger in the Woodshed. I hope you have a lovely Lent. I hope you do participate in Lent. I know, like, in my tradition, there's a specific prescribed fasting practice. But if you can't engage with that, or you don't want to engage with that, I hope at the very least you dial back some of your indulgences. You take time to pray more, to care for people. Volunteer your time and your energy both to God and to those who have less than you. And I'll see you all after Easter. God bless.